intros of all time.
I mean, it's good on its own,
Uh-huh.
but it lends itself, so well to the internet and its wonderful uses.
Well, it's funny because, growing up as a 90s kids now.
Dang.
I know that as the X-Files intro,
Mm-hmm.
but nowadays it's known as the Illuminati theme,
Yeah.
which is even funnier.
Mm-hmm.
It's like X-Files, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just funny that how that song has taken on a whole new life.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the guy who wrote that song is very proud of that.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, it also kind of goes hand in hand with the Goosebumps theme song.
Oh, yeah.
That
Forgot
one
about that.
is spectacular as well.
Yeah.
Good memes with that one too.
Mm-hmm.
Good memes.
Well, I wanted to use that song as the intro for this week
Mm-hmm.
because with the whole Jeffrey Epstein death, murder, whatever happened, and all the
It was officially ruled a suicide if you saw.
oh yeah, that's right.
Except his lawyers say no, it wasn't.
It just got me thinking about conspiracy theories. And I thought it'd be fun to talk about them
Yeah.
because when you hear conspiracy theories, you automatically think X-Files theme /
Yeah.
Illuminati confirmed
Yeah.
song. So I think we should start maybe historically. And one of the outlandish ones I thought of from when I was younger is the fact that people thought legitimately, and as teenagers, so teenagers are
Yeah.
stupid, but the son on Mr. Belvedere, which was an 80s, 90s show about a butler that lived with a family, and there was just funniness and stuff that goes on. If you watched it nowadays, it'd be like, how is this show ever popular?
Yeah.
It's totally an element of its time.
Yes.
But people thought the son on that show was Marilyn Manson. And the funny thing is, there might be like a passing resemblance to the people. But it's like how teenagers will just believe anything.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, oh my God, that really is true.
Yeah.
And it's easy to prove. And I think it's because it's really before the widespread internet. But even nowadays, with the internet being
Yeah.
so widespread, people still believe crazy things.
I mean, that's my favorite thing about most conspiracy theories is that it's not like, there's some evidence for this. It's like there is this tiny tenuous thread kind of connecting the details of this idea together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so far-fetched. I mean, we also mentioned, you mentioned yours with Mr. Belvedere, but the bird one.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that birds are government drones and birds aren't real, guys, that's...
See, what I can't figure out is that a conspiracy theory people believe in, or is that a meme? Or is it just a blend of both?
It is a blend of both.
Okay.
It absolutely is. Kind of like flat Earth.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole theory that, didn't it start on 4chan, if I'm not mistaken?
Well, I mean, flat Earth theory has been around for a long time, but the
like,
modern version...
The modern popularization of it
Yeah.
comes from 4chan saying, hey, let's do this, and
Yeah.
then it turned into the stupidity that it is today. But,
yeah, people just do it for the meme.
Yeah, but my favorite thing is that with the bird one, there was constantly the comment during the government shutdown, hey, has anyone seen any birds? I mean, I haven't, personally. I mean, there have been photos, but I haven't seen any birds personally since the
Right.
government shutdown. It was like, oh my gosh. The internet's such a wonderful place.
Or, I mean, you never come across their dead bodies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sure, there's maybe random birds that exist or whatever, and you see them run into a building, but
Yeah.
you never see a dead body of a bird.
See, but this lends itself to why, when you start to think about any of these theories that, falls apart in an instant, it's like, well, how often are you seeing dead bodies of anything?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, maybe death is the real conspiracy.
Oh,
Oh, we're onto something now.
I think we are.
Yeah.
Or the next one's a twofer,
Mm-hmm.
where I've heard that the moon is actually a spaceship that's projecting a hologram onto the Earth.
Yes.
So all of reality is just a hologram.
Yep.
And then the converse of that one is the moon is a hologram.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of funny. It's like goes back and forth.
Yeah.
What I would like is a debate between the believers of those two views
Mm-hmm.
to debate each other.
We also need to bring in the other conspiracy theory about the moon that I love is that the moon is hollow.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's a metal shell.
Yeah.
And it's hollow. I don't know any more than that, other than that's what it supposedly is.
Yeah.
So we bring them into the debate, as well as
I think
people
they
who
could.
don't believe that we've walked on the moon, those
Oh, yeah.
conspiracy theorists. We bring them all into like a debate stage and just have them go at it. I think that'd be real fun.
See, if I was a billionaire, this is one of the things I would do.
Just fun,
Just subsidize.
conspiracy
Yeah.
theorist debates.
Because honestly, I think you could get a ton of viewers of it.
Oh yeah.
And then you could market it.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
People would buy advertising and everything.
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of, especially the under 30 crowd, would watch it.
Oh yeah.
And that's the one that marketers want and everything.
Oh yeah. Of course.
We should get on this, Richard. I think
Go
we're
into
stumbling
marketing for conspiracy theory debates.
Yeah.
This is where we make our millions.
Oh man. So there's that. What else did we talk about?
I mean, there's
another
my personal favorite conspiracy theory. So, for those of you who don't know, Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
one. That's right. Yeah.
Not the original, the sequel.
Right.
Because the original, that was just a toss-away film, but the sequel...
Right. It's kind of like Terminator and Terminator 2.
Yeah. The sequel is very important because, as some of you may know, it was specifically written with Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon in mind.
Yeah. When you first showed me, well, you mentioned it to me, and I thought, how is that even possible? And then you showed me the video, and by the end, I'm thinking, okay, this is more than a coincidence.
Yeah.
Because like the scene where they go to the gun show, the security show, whatever.
Yeah.
And it starts playing the song Money.
Yeah.
And then there's certain beats in the song that follow the beats of like people doing stuff
Yeah.
in the movie.
Yeah. Most of it is just the general atmosphere of what's
Yeah.
happening in the album compared to what's happening
Yeah, but it
in
matches.
in the movie. Yeah, and it
Yeah.
does match really well, but there are a
Like the
number of
mood.
moments like that. Not even then, like I believe it's the beginning of the movie where like they're talking about his grandmother being dead
Yeah.
or whatever. And like the second she gets hit by the car, the lyrics come in.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's so good. So also to clarify, this isn't you listen to the album once and then continue watching the movie. You have to loop the album twice to watch the movie all the way through. And again, each time you listen, it parallels. So the first time you listen to the album, you get those story beats, those emotional beats. And the second time you listen through the album, it still parallels what's happening within the film.
And that's a true sign of artistry, where there's just layers and layers
Yeah.
of meaning and ways to appreciate it, like a Stanley Kubrick film.
Yes, of course.
I think people are too quick to dismiss the Paul Blart 2 movie.
Yes. Paul Blart Mall Cop 2.
Yes.
But the other thing is that I haven't quite figured out yet is why. Because, the moon being a hologram, it's like, dude, reality, we got to wake up and figure it out.
Right.
Or with like birds, dude, the government's spying on us kind of a thing.
Yeah.
With this one, I'm trying to figure out the why. We know the what. But we have to figure out why Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 was specifically coded in with Pink Floyd.
Well, it is an Adam Sandler movie.
It is
Right.
not.
Oh, it's not?
No, it's Kevin James.
Well, I mean, like, who produced it kind
Oh,
of thing.
it might be.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
think it's...
Because Kevin James in that crowd. Of,
Yeah.
but I don't know if he,
Mm-hmm.
if Adam Sandler specifically produced it or like his company or whatever.
Yeah, because I know for one thing, Adam Sandler is very much into the sort of 60s and 70s
Yes.
arena rock. Like, if you watch his other movies, they always work in some sort of, like Styx or REO Speedwagon.
Yeah.
Or, any one of those bands. So it doesn't
Yeah.
surprise me that Pink Floyd is involved in it. But, I mean, the 90s were sort of peak Adam Sandler movie time with Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison.
Oh yeah.
And nowadays people hate him so much. Like, what was that one where he played Jack and Jill?
Oh man.
I never saw it just because it was so poorly rated. I thought, I don't always. But then again, I like terrible movies, so I don't know, maybe I should watch it. But I wonder if you thought, all right, you guys, I'm going to let true artistry come out. And I'm going to write Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 to the album of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
It's crazy enough that it just might be true. And currently, I'm doing some hardcore research as we speak.
On your phone.
Yeah. Using the wonders of Google, but they might be in on the conspiracy, so we might not get any results.
Oh, maybe Google has blacklisted that stuff
Could be.
because they don't want the news
It
to get out.
is. It is indeed Happy Madison Productions.
See?
It is.
I knew it had to have been.
Yep. So we'll delve into that conspiracy and figure out the true inner the true inner
The
machinations.
machinations of your mind
Yes.
are an enigma.
Oh yes, that meme too. But we'll have to figure out what the true inner workings, what's really happening there.
Right.
So
Or, of course, the fact that the Earth is run by a race of lizard people.
yeah, that too.
Yeah.
I mean, that one's just a given,
Yeah. I don't know how anybody even questions that.
Yeah.
It's obvious. Plus, there was that one video you showed me when I was at your house. It was by Armored Skeptic.
Yes.
And talking about...
Alternate history of like everything is like not real, and like my favorite part of that conspiracy, there's a lot of Jewish conspiracies about like the Jews, they control money, they control the world.
Right.
But the detail in this conspiracy theory that really just sticks out to me, and it's like, boy, he really does know what he's talking about, because this convinced me. So Jews, not only are they great and powerful, but they're actually aliens.
Yeah.
But they're not just aliens. They're aliens from the future. Because it would be far too convenient if the Jews were just aliens,
Right.
Check out Armored Skeptic, Atlantis is Real, and then there's
Yeah.
a part 2, I forgot what it's called. But it's so legendary to watch this, and you're like, this person legitimately believes what they're saying.
Yeah, and it's not just like the simple, oh yeah, Jews are aliens from the future. It's a whole, like, Lord of the Rings level of history.
Yeah.
Of battles that happened. The Earth went through different phases.
Oh, yeah.
Just all this stuff.
It's magical.
Yeah.
Because, again, that Jewish part is a minor detail in the whole grand conspiracy of what he's explaining about the true history of Earth.
Right.
It's like, oh, it's amazing. This video. Like, you really understand that, wow, these people legitimately believe what they're saying.
Yeah. Plus, did you see how Bernie Sanders promised that if he gets elected president and he does find anything about aliens, he's going to release it to the public?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But then they're going to kill him.
Suicide by... Oh, did you see the cause of the suicide? So
Was it hanging?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
So they found broken bones in his neck,
I heard that.
which most doctors would say would be a cause of strangulation. However, it can be found in some victims of hanging. Now, granted that what was left in his cell is not anything that can be conventionally used to hang yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's all like paper sheets and stuff that would tear if you were to actually try and hang yourself. So what they suggest is, well, he still hung himself.
Okay.
Or hanged himself, rather. Got to get
Yeah,
that
hanged.
proper grammar.
Exactly.
He still hanged himself. But what he did is, he knelt forward forcefully enough. Because, like, I understand suffocating. Like, you can suffocate yourself.
Yeah.
Like, he leaned forward and cut off airflow.
Correct. Yeah, I can see that.
But how does that break any neck bones, you ask?
Yeah,
Well,
that would
he
take
knelt
force.
forward forcefully enough. That's what they're saying. So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's interesting.
It is.
Plus, you look at it, and what did they say? The guards were asleep?
Oh, the guards weren't even real guards.
Oh, they weren't?
No, they were not hired by the prison.
I've been so busy this week, I haven't been able to
No,
follow up, so.
I've been watching all of Tim Pool's stuff on it, and it's like, good grief. The only thing that is for certain is that this is not a suicide.
Yeah.
I don't believe Clinton did it. I don't believe
Yeah.
Trump did it. It's probably, because with how many people he knew, it's probably one of the dark mystery figures in the background who didn't want to be found. But like, it amazes me. Like I said, yeah, they just took him off suicide watch. Yeah, day before they just took out his inmate. Yeah, the guards that were there, well, it wasn't an actual guard.
Plus, didn't the camera stop working
Yeah.
too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all just normal things that can go wrong in, a situation like this.
Yeah, taken one by one, you can understand, okay, the camera went out. Or a guard fell asleep. But there's so many levels of redundancy.
Yeah.
And each one went out.
Yeah.
And you have to ask at some point, all right, was this planned? Because it's like, imagine you go out to your car and like a headlight can go out.
Yeah.
But if you go to drive your car, your headlights are out, your brakes aren't working, your horn stops working, and you're thinking, all right, is somebody trying to kill me?
Yeah.
Those things just don't all go out.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man.
I don't know.
I hope we find answers.
Maybe. I
But,
sincerely
we'll see.
doubt it.
Yeah.
The other weird thing is, as your ever so reluctant purveyor of 4chan,
You do the dirty work. So we
I
don't have
do
to.
the dirty work every now and again. Again, brief visitations.
Get in,
Can't
get out.
stay there too long. But I went there, and it's pretty interesting that all of a sudden, on the politically incorrect subsection on 4chan,
Unfortunately, yeah.
that all of a sudden there have been a few posts that are just like, yeah, pedophilia is not that bad. And I'm like, that's also a little suspect that this is all of a sudden just happening on 4chan.
Yeah.
Because as scummy as politically incorrect is,
Right.
it almost never delves into the goings on of pedophiles.
Yeah, usually stuff like that gets attacked pretty harshly on there.
It gets attacked by everyone. That's why even in prison,
Yeah.
all that happens. But I'm sure, I don't know.
Well, you remember that story on, was it Slate or one of those places where they had an article on there about a, shoot. Basically, they were trying to normalize pedophilia.
Oh,
on
yeah,
there.
yeah.
And he's like, I never acted out.
Yeah,
But
of course. It's like,
like, what are you guys doing?
I don't know. That's my favorite thing is like how many of the steps that we said of the slippery slope that have come into place.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, look, we only want marriage for
Right.
homosexuals. That's all it is. Nothing more. We want you to bake us a cake. That's it. Nothing
Right.
more. We want you to wax our genitals. That's it. Nothing more. We don't want to, get in with kids, except that, it's seeming like maybe you do.
But yeah, it wasn't even just the waxing of genitals. It's male genitalia, but you're supposed to pretend that it's female.
Yeah.
That's the best part.
I
What kind of clown world are we living in?
don't know, man. It's a funny one.
I know, that reminds me, I saw a meme about that where it's a slope
Yeah.
with an arrow pointing on it. It's like, you are here on the slippery slope.
Yeah. No, my favorite like slippery slope meme is the one where it's like the toddler going down like the slide, and you just see him progressively go
Yeah.
like into sheer shock as he's going down faster and
Yeah,
faster.
exactly. Well, I guess we could talk about something a little lighter.
Something kind of clown worldy but more fun.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was the one thing that I mentioned to you before the show of what Trump's doing.
Yeah.
I mean, Trump's always doing something,
He
But,
is the meme president.
Yes. And as such, his strategies, not only are they strategic, but they're also hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Because the talking is that some of his aides, I believe it was, were to look into purchasing Greenland.
How do you even look into that?
I don't know.
I mean, it's not like a store. Do you just call up the... I don't
Call
know,
up
whoever,
Denmark.
Yeah, whoever runs Greenland.
Yeah,
but
what's the
Denmark.
price on Greenland nowadays?
Yeah.
I don't know. But the best part is of course, because of how absurd this is, it goes into everyone laughing about it. But it's like, think about it. Having Greenland is an immense strategic military benefit.
Oh, yeah. I've
Like-
played Risk.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Greenland, like Iceland, has a lot of untapped natural resources.
Right.
It's positioned pretty darn well. I mean, North Atlantic, good stuff there.
Give us a lot of more property to develop.
And then the other thing I saw is that this has been a talking point, like very minor talking point since the Cold War, because they wanted Greenland as a protection against Soviet military stuff
Yeah.
going on. And so they're like, all right, we're going to maybe look into Greenland. And it's like, now that Trump's doing it, now it's absurd. Of course.
Like, I remember when I was a kid, people talking about, maybe not a ton, but I've heard it before, the idea of a space force,
oh, yeah.
where that's the next logical step
Yeah.
for even for military purposes,
Oh, yeah.
just because at some point, and you say space force, it's not like Star Wars, they're
Yeah.
flying from planet to planet, but just the fact that you have military protection in the
Upper atmosphere.
in the upper atmosphere,
Yeah.
even.
I mean, this was years ago, back when COD Ghost came out and started like showing you, whoa, this is a military technology thing that could really work. Where it was like the interplanetary ballistic missiles or whatever,
Yeah.
where it was like literally just a metal rod, but because it's from so high up that it can cause more devastation than a nuke.
Right.
But without the terrible nuclear side effects of radiation poisoning the atmosphere and everything.
Yeah, it's like a railgun times a million.
Yeah, basically.
But anyways, I think it'd be a great idea if you went with Greenland.
Yeah.
I mean, for one, it's green.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's ice.
Yeah.
Trick the Vikings. Maybe that's another thing that's happening is that Trump's getting Iceland and Greenland mixed up. It's
That'd
like,
be
no, I
great.
wanted the green one.
That'd be funny if it was turned into some like white supremacy thing,
Oh, yeah.
because it's the Vikings that originally got it, who are European,
Oh, I can guarantee.
and so therefore he wants to secure the heritage of. There you go.
Yeah. It all
Yeah.
comes back around.
Yeah, it all comes back to white supremacy.
Yeah.
I wonder what the going price of Greenland would be.
I don't know. Apparently they have 50,000 inhabitants there, so
Dang.
yeah.
I think there's more people that live in the small town we're in.
Yes, this is true. Because I recently drove by a population sign. I'm like, wow, I didn't think there were that many here. It's like, wow, we're more than double what they have in.
And see, that would be a good incentive to get global warming going.
Yeah.
Because then, if Greenland becomes more inhabitable and actually becomes green land,
Yeah.
hey, there we go.
Yep. That's the solution. Burn the earth.
Right.
Get Greenland green.
Greenland greened again.
That's his other slogan. It's like, make America great again, make Greenland green again.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, gosh. Well, you were telling me how you went to the King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
Yes.
Did I say that right?
Yes. I mean,
You went to their concert.
again, that tenuous connection, because their new album is all about saving the earth through the power of thrash metal.
There you go.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff on the new album. Came out a few days ago. It's a fantastic album with some good thrash, and it's like songs like Mars for the Rich, because, Elon, and they're talking
I
about
can see that.
and like talking about not being a Martian, but being a Venusian.
Okay.
One
From
who's-
Venus?
Yes, Venusian, rather. But
Venusian.
yes, they talk about like the superbug because we're all killing ourselves with not finishing off our antibiotics and getting super bacteria that develop and all that. So anyway, that's the album. Now this show was very much focused on that new album. And this was a few days before the album release. So it was cool to see, them play the songs live before I even heard them on the album.
Yeah.
Very, very fun. Now, the Greek Theater, it's amazing in its acoustics because you're in the hillside, and those Hollywood hills, as Bob Seger sang about, those Hollywood nights and those Hollywood hills. You get some tremendous acoustics at the Greek Theater. However, the Greek Theater is, I would describe, uptight compared to most venues.
Okay.
Because keep in mind, they're playing most of the stuff that they're playing is from their new thrash metal album.
Okay.
And thrash metal, if there's one thing you do to it, is you thrash.
Right.
You have a good pit going, all that fun stuff.
Like 80s Metallica.
Oh,
right?
yeah. 80s Metallica, the big four, Anthrax, the
Yeah.
rest. But, here at the Greek, first of all, it's mostly stadium seating anyway.
Okay.
But the little sliver in front of the stage that is, basically general, where, you just stand there, you get to enjoy the show up close, as, where a pit would develop. I say would because they tried to get them going many, many times throughout the show. However, the Greek venue staff seemed to have other opinions and would constantly walk over and just shine a flashlight in the pit and like try and stop it. And it would slow down and peter
Try and give
out.
you a seizure from the flashing
I
light.
guess, I don't know. But they'd slow it down, peter it out, and eventually they'd walk away. And then King Giz would play another new song off the new thrash metal album, and then they'd have to walk over again. Guys, stop it. Stop it.
I guess that's the light equivalent of like squirting a cat with a water bottle.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think that's what the Greek hopes it is.
Right.
But it was sad to watch because like a pit is one of the most interesting phenomena at a concert.
Well, it's a way to experience the music.
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, it's like going to a symphony, dressing up in a tuxedo,
Yeah.
being all nice.
Yes.
Listening to a thrash metal show
Yeah.
is the exact opposite of that.
Yeah.
So if you went to a symphony and weren't allowed to dress in a tuxedo, weren't allowed to be all uptight,
Yeah.
I'd be like, what's the point of going to
Yeah.
a symphony?
Yeah, I mean, we were at a King Giz signing at Amoeba. I
Yeah.
think we talked about it.
Yeah.
And dudes I was talking to in line, I'm like, yeah, it's at the Greek Theater. I'm like, oh, I really want to see them, but I don't know about the Greek because there's like no way we can do a pit there. And I'm like, I get you, man, but also I'd rather see King Giz than not.
Yeah.
So, but it was also interesting because the band themselves are hilarious. Like I said, when I talked to them in an earlier episode, I sure mentioned it, that when I talked to Stu and Eric,
Yeah, you did.
talked to them, and they were very down to earth, very fun guys, like to chat. I had like a minute conversation because there's a line and everything.
Right.
But like they made time for that like barely minute long conversation.
They didn't have that rock star attitude.
No. The hilarious thing is on stage, they're like, all right, guys, this next song, it's about Stu's mom. And they're like, all right. And then they start playing this thing, and you're like, what does this song have to do about his mother? Like, I'm trying to think about it in my mind. And then they play a song called Psy Boogie, which is about one of the characters in their lore, as I mentioned, Han Tiumi.
Yeah.
Well, before they go into Psy Boogie, the song about a cyborg who destroys the Earth in their album Murder of the Universe, they say, guys, we need you to be real quiet. This is a very somber song about Stu's grandmother. And we're like, we're just like laughing. We're like, what? How? They were pretty funny guys to watch on stage. It was also the only rock show that I've seen maracas used.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's impressive.
it was.
Because I've watched a video of like actual professional mariachi band playing.
Yeah.
And that guy really rocked the maracas.
Oh, yeah.
So I bet it was something along that level.
Oh,
Because you
yeah.
think of maraca, somebody just shakes it. It's like, no, those are percussive instruments
Oh,
that
yes.
you can play in a variety of ways.
Oh, yes. I mean, it was kind of stereotypical maraca performance, but, you know, he was still jamming
Right.
into it. Ambrose,
You can get many different rhythms out of those things.
oh, yeah.
Huh.
But it was also interesting, just the entire thing of the show, because at some point you realize, man, King Gizzard is such a weird band. Because
Just look at the name.
yeah, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they open their show with some of the thrash stuff. They end their show with some of the thrash stuff. But in the middle of it, you're like, wait, why are we listening to prog rock? And like, why are we listening to like super slow psychedelic right now? And you're like, oh yeah, because it's these guys. It was hilarious to me because I'm just like headbanging a minute ago, and then now I'm like just kind of drifting side to side with like the psychedelic. It's very interesting. Go see them live. I would highly recommend it.
Do they dress up crazy like in their music videos or?
Some of them did, yes.
Okay.
The two drummers, Eric and Cook. I think it's Cook.
Did I hear you correctly? Two drummers?
Two drummers, yes, of
Perfect.
course. I mean, what band has a mediocre one drum set being used at one time?
Yeah, that's lame.
But they came out in like the red jumpsuits from their Planet B music video, I think it was, that used it. Where they were in like prison jumpsuits, orange prison jumpsuits and stuff.
I like it.
Some of them, like Stu was just wearing like a shirt and jeans. One of them was wearing like a nice dress shirt. And like, I don't know, they were all over the place, you know? That's
like
kind
it.
of how you expect them to be.
Yeah.
But it was a fantastic show. Also, the opener, or one of the openers, was Stonefield, which which is another interesting group because it's four sisters,
Huh.
like all together, just playing in the band.
Interesting.
And it's also interesting because you don't very often get the drummer being the vocalist.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, I knew it was four sisters. I didn't know that the drummer sang. I didn't know any of this. And they all came out. It was hilarious because they're playing like kind of psychedelic metal, kind of sludgy stuff.
Okay.
But they come out dressed like 70s, like just 70s look. Not 70s rock or 70s like punk or metal. No, they just came out dressed with like corduroy jackets and pants.
Like they went to Kmart in the 70s.
Yes.
Nice.
That's what they looked like. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing.
Huh.
It was another
That's
little
fascinating.
tidbit. So I'd highly recommend seeing them too.
Cool. Yeah, the only two bands I can think of off the top of my head with drummers, singers are Sum 41 and
Really?
Under Oath.
Sum 41?
Sometimes the drummer would sing.
Sometimes, but like not
Yeah.
the main vocalist though.
Oh, this is like the main
The
vocalist.
main vocalist. Like she's the only one singing.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I can think of the Eagles, Don
Yeah.
Henley, but like that's it for me that I know of.
Yeah, you don't see that that
Yeah.
often.
I think the Romantics maybe.
Okay.
I think the
Yeah, I don't know.
Romantics, you know, with their songs that I know of, Talking in Your Sleep and What I Like About You, and that's it. Because who really listens to the Romantics more than that?
All right. And on that note, I think it's time to say goodnight.
I think it is. We need our good old friend Lawrence Welk.
Mm-hmm.
Good night, until we meet.
I think they'd be good for the Greek theater.
They're very wholesome.
Very.
No one's going to be moshing to this.
No.